Welcome to my channel Pimby Beauty. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Danessa Myricks Beauty Lightwork Volume 4 Transcendence palette. That's quite a mouthful, but this is the palette I'm going to be reviewing today. But first thing first, let's talk about how I got the palette in the first place. So when the Lightwork 3 came out, I searched everywhere in UK for this palette and I couldn't get my hands on it. It was when it was first the bigger version with the iridescent shade in the middle. That was when I wanted it, but then she did a newer version. Again, I could not find this in UK, so when this came out I was so desperate and because new companies are always opening up every time, I just type in Google Danessa Myricks Volume 4 UK, and all of a sudden the EU website came out, the Europe website. I was not aware that they had a website in Euro or they were even selling from Euro. I always thought it was from the US, so I was so excited. Got on the website and they had the palette. I was really happy, so I decided to get both of them since I wanted this and I never got it. To be honest with you, I don't even care if there's a repeat of this and this. No, I just wanted both of them. Now, if you've been on this channel for a while or you follow me on Instagram or seen any of my posts, I'm always lamenting. I create custom palettes, by the way, if you're new to my channel. I like to create custom palettes and build a look from it. And one of my regrets is always, especially when I build like a really beautiful palette, I'm always like regretting I have to take it apart. You know, I'm filter it back into my collection to build another palette. I'm always in search for an all shimmer palette, you know, a beautiful palette. Actually, in one of my recent videos as well, I was saying if somebody comes out with an all shimmer palette, as in beautiful magical shimmers in one way or the other, I don't even care how much it costs, I'm definitely getting it. And I think it was 2 weeks after I filmed that video that this came out. I was super excited. Now, if you've not seen the inside of this palette, then maybe you won't understand what I mean. Now, this is a palette that has shimmers, yeah, shimmer down. But what's also exciting about it is it's got different kind of textures and formulas in the middle. So these two here are water activated liners, but they are not like your matte liner. They are water activated shimmer liners, if you like. And then these two, they are pressed chrome flakes. Can you just imagine a palette with all this magic? So for me, this is for me. This is for me. I know it's not for everybody, but this one, yeah, definitely it was made for me. I was so excited. I was prepared to get it from the US if I needed to. I'm glad I found it in Europe nearer me. Anyway, I also got my palette on a discount. I was so desperate when I saw the price. I was like, it's just too expensive. So out of desperation, I just type in on Google. I put Danessa Myricks discount, and some 15% discount popped up. I didn't even think it was going to work. It worked. I was super excited. Yeah, so I got mine on a 15% discount. Alright, with the palette came a set of brushes. So they are mostly silicone like brushes, and they are the kind of brushes that are more appropriate to apply this kind of shades, especially with the chrome flakes. So these are the brushes. The only one that is not silicone, that has like Bristol tip, is the liner brush. All the other 6 are silicone tips. So they are different shapes, but they are still silicone. Absolutely, I'm excited, really excited. Now I have this generic silicone one. The tip I have is white, but I have this one. And I also have this one. I actually just recently got this one from Slay Ready Cosmetics. For this other one, I am so excited about. In fact, there's one for like liner shape. Don't know if you can see, but there is just all sort of shapes. There's a rectangular one which you can use for your lower lid. The ones particularly for the inner corner. This one is for the inner corner. And then this one is best used to kind of blend the shades on your crease. I mean, if you've seen a few of my looks, I like to do like an highlight look across my crease, and this is perfect for it. It kind of drags the shade so beautifully. So I am really excited for this brush. I'm going to be doing a look today, but before I do the look, I just want to swatch the palette first, just so I can get a feel of the kind of look I want to create, because I don't want to get too excited with this look. I've promised myself once I film this one, I'm going to film another one straight away using the shade. So I'm going to try and take my time and just kind of calm down and use these shades. It also came with this on top of the palette, so if you are buying, don't throw this away because it tells you what kind of formula, even though you can kind of like memorize what kind of formula. So generally it has 4 different formulas in the pan. So it's got velvet chromes, and I will show you when I get there. It's got glass metallics, it's got pressed chrome flakes, as well as aqua chrome. So there are 2 glass metallics there, and it's this yellow shade as well as this white shade. They are glass metallics, and when I swatch it, you will notice the difference as well. All these other ones, they are, so these two are the bottom, this pink and this, they are velvet chrome. Aqua chrome is the blue and the purple. Then the middle ones are the pressed chrome flakes. So it's quite apparent when you look at the palette which is which, really. So I really don't need to keep this. Alright, I think after that long intro, let's start swatching the palette. So I'm going to start swatching from there and then go all the way, regardless of what kind of formula it is. I'm just going to swatch according to what how the palette is laid down. Alright, these are the first 4 shades. So if I'm looking down, is to tell you what the name is. So the first one is called Trans. Alright, I brought you a little bit closer so you can just see the shifts in this shade. So this is Trans. Second one is Naverna. This is one of the glass metallics, and it's called Divinity. So you will see the difference. You see, so it's not as sleek and smooth. I think you can get away with this too. You can get away, if you don't have oily lids, you can get away without a glitter primer, but for these you would definitely need a glitter glue. And then the 4th one is called Sixth Sense. Next one on that row is called Out of Body. So the middle row are the more complicated ones, so I am going to wet the ones that are aqua chromes. Okay, don't spray your palette and ruin the other shades. So all you have to do is drop some water in the shades that are aqua, which are the ones on both sides. So I'm not going to lift my palette because I've got water in it at the moment. Alright, the first aqua chrome is called Intuition. So don't forget, these are not matte. They are metallic chrome. So they are really meant for you to just drop your water in and then use as a liner or whatever you want to do, wing liner. Basically they are used for like graphic work, really. Not really meant for you to have as an eyeshadow. They are really for graphic work, but they are metallic, they are not matte. I dropped some water on the second liner at the same time as I did the blue one. So this is the one called Aura, and I'm just going to swatch it next to the first aqua liner, which is probably a good idea because then you get to see the difference between the 2 shades. So this is more like purple and this is definitely blue. Okay, for the pressed chrome flakes, they are a bit different. Right now they've got like a glass cover on top of the 2 shades, so they are kind of like intact. So to get it to move, you've got to break that layer for the 2 of them. So you've got to kind of like dig in and get rid of that shiny layer on top to be able to access the product. Okay, so this is Heaven and this is Paradise. So let's watch Heaven first. So these you can make as opaque as you want. You can either pack it on or you can spread it. So I'm going to show you if you don't want to pack it on. Oh, let me see if I can find somewhere that won't kind of mess with our swatches. So I'm going to do it right here. I don't know if you can see. So if you really want to spread it, you can spread it. Let me just do it and then I'll show you. So you can have it this way. So it's not packed, you just spread in it. So you can spread it, or you can make it packed on your eyes or swatches or whatever it is that you need to do. So the second pressed chrome flake is called Paradise. So again, you can pack this on or you can spread it, just depending on the intensity and the effect you are going for on the eye. So this Paradise is beautiful. So this is Heaven and this is Paradise. I'm actually glad the texture it is, because it's quite difficult to apply flakes sometimes. You can either put too much or you put too little, but this one is giving control. Because it's pressed, you have control over what you use. Yeah, so I'm so excited about this pressed chrome flakes. I hope she comes out with more, or a whole palette of pressed chrome flakes. I'm definitely getting that. Yeah, I like the formula. So let's move on to the last row. Okay, this and the pink one are velvet chromes, remember, and this one on the middle is a glass metallics. This glass metallics is actually more kind of softer and metallic than the first one I swatched. The divinity is more kind of like, you can see the glass in it, but this one can't really pass. It's like in between the velvet ones, really. It's not exactly the same formula as the last one. So this one is called Zen. This one is absolutely beautiful and magical. Look at that. I do not have this anywhere in my collection, so I'm quite excited about this one. Zen. And then this is the one that is a glass one. It's called Angels. So see what I'm talking about. It's not like scattered like this one. So it's got more substance than this one. It's absolutely beautiful. Angels. And then this next one, Trippy. This one is gorgeous. Even from the pan, you can see the beauty. It's called Trippy. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So it's got like I want to say pink and green. I mean, look at my fingers. So gorgeous. Yeah, you can see the green in it, but it's predominantly pink. It's just got like green shifts in it. It is beautiful. In fact, every shade in this palette is beautiful. And another favorite, I just love special shades of green. So this green one is called Escapism, and this last one is called Awakening. Yeah, in some of them I can definitely see dupes in my Cleonard shades. So if you don't mind me swatching right here. So that's Escapism, and the last one, Awakening. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay, just in case you didn't see that clearly, I'm just going to swatch them again here. Escapism, Awakening. They are magical. I wanted this, and I'm so glad she came out with this. At least any brand. I just wanted any brand to come out with a palette of special shades. I did not want to care how much it cost. Now, I might be one of the minority, because I mean, I believe in you get what you paid for. And for me, this is magical. This is magical. If you love magical shades, it's so worth it. It's so worth it, honestly. So we are now going to do a quick look on this. I'm going to use some matte palettes. I haven't decided which matte palettes I'm going to use yet, but I'm going to prime my eyes, and I'll be right back for the application. So the palettes I picked out are these three from Bperfect Compass palette. So they had like 4. I have a video on my channel actually swatching this 4 palettes. There's actually a 4th one, a nudes one, but yeah, I'm not going to be using that today. So pink, green, pink, and blue and purple. I've also got the Prima palette standing by, just in case I need to dip in my outer corner. So this is the inside of Prima. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. So I might dip into this to kind of like dip in my outer corner to give myself variety on my looks. So I don't usually do a shimmer only look, because I've got hooded eyes, I've got folded lids, and I've also got oily lids. So I like to lay matte down before I apply my shimmers. Besides, these shimmers are black base, so if you have oily lids, they are gonna crack on you. So just so you know, you're better off having some sort of foundation in times of matte on your lid before you use these shimmers. Okay, this is gonna be the purple side, and then the pink and green maybe on this side. But yeah, let's do the purple and blue on this side. I'm gonna speed the application up because it's not really about the matte, is about the shimmers. So I'm going with some generic sky blue, and I'm starting from my lower lid. Then going for a medium shade blue, and putting that next to the sky blue. Okay, now changing to a royal blue to match the purple on my outer edge. I'm going to be putting purple on my outer edge, so I've changed that to the royal blue. I think that will blend in better with the purple. Okay, going in with the darkest purple in the palette. Just going to put that right in the outer part of my lid, dragging it a little bit into my crease. I'm not going too overboard yet, not towards my brow bone, but this is what I want as the main lid color. I'm going to a lilac shade. I'm going to start kind of pulling out the shade on my crease towards my brow bone. Okay, the green in this palette is too dark for the inner part of my lid, so I'm going to go with the green in the Prima palette, this one. That's what it looks like. So I'm just going to gently pat it down the front part of my lid. So I want to use the green shimmers in the Danessa Myricks palette. So I want to lay down the same colored base, so which is why I'm using the green. I mean, you really can just have one shade on your lid and apply the shimmers as you want. It won't matter. It's just I'm particular about this. You don't have to do the same. If I just lay down like a flesh tone matte on my lid, all the shimmers will still work. And then just going back to that lilac on towards my brow bone, I'm just going to kind of blend the green and purple together. So back and forth, go back to the green and just blend it into the purple. So right here it looks like they are speaking to each other. Yeah, it might look crazy right now, but trust me, once the shimmers are applied, it's gonna look beautiful. So we're gonna go to the other eye, apply the matte first, and then we're gonna do the shimmers together. Alright, again starting with a very light pink shade on my lower lid. Just gonna put that right there towards my tear duct. Moving to a medium tone pink, putting that next to the baby pink, and then going for a darker pink, putting that next to the medium tone pink. Gonna pull it across a little bit, just like I did on the other side. Going to a bigger brush, I'm just gonna start blending that into my lid. I'm not using a darker color yet because if I'm not careful, this could go all over the place. I just want to lay this pink down first and then I'll swap to a darker color. Going to that medium tone pink, I'm going to use that towards my brow bone to blend out this pink shade. Alright, to have a common ground with this one, I'm going to use the same green on the inner part of my lid. So the same green in the Blend Bunny palette. I'm going to lay that in the front part of my lid. Wow, I love that combination. That is beautiful. Okay, the last thing to do before we apply the shimmers is to darken my outer edge here. So I'm going with this dark pink. I mean, like I said, I've already swatched this palette, so I will link that video to this so you can see all the shades I'm using. Now this is really dark, so I really am going to be careful. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave it out for now until we've applied the shimmers, and then I can fine-tune the edges. But it's time to apply the shimmers. Alright, for today's look, I'm using the JD Glow stock because it's very smooth and it won't have texture to these shadows. So the first shade I'm going to is Trance, this purple-like shade. I kind of suspect it might not appear purple, so I'm gonna just put that here just in case it's not very purple. Alright, yeah, that looks like a royal blue, so I am gonna go for this in the outer corner. Although it looks green on the screen, it has a purple flip to it. So this is Awakening. I'm gonna try Awakening on the edge. Yeah, I prefer that towards the purple. Alright, so there's not really glitter glue in that area, in the outer part of my lid. So that's just kind of like sticking to nothing really. And then going back to that first shade, Trance, I'm pulling that towards the inner part of my lid now. I almost forgot about the silicone brushes. So the next shade I'm gonna go with, I think it might be too dark, so I'm kind of like gonna ease myself in a little bit. I'm going with this one, Escapism, and that's what it looks like on the brush. So I'm gonna start pulling that in little by little on my lid. Whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot. Just gonna shake that off. Yeah, that was a lot, so be very careful when you pick it up. A little goes a long way. Oh wow. If anything, this kind of like spreads it so quickly. Can you see that? Oh my. Okay, so I'm gonna need an in-betweener shade. I'm gonna just leave my upper lid for a little bit and find an in-betweener shade between those two. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one, Out of Body. I believe that's what it's called. I'm gonna use my finger because I need to blend a lot. So I'm gonna look like a Christmas tree once this look is finished. Oh, that is nice. So we're gonna keep on going between the two, then back to that green, then just blend it into Out of Body. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, definitely like that. Okay, for my lower lid, I'm going with Zen. So I've just taken a little bit on the tip of that silicone brush. I've learned my lesson. This brush spreads it quicker, and you need minimal product. So it's kind of, you use less. So that's not yellow enough. So I'm going to go with Divinity, which is the glass shimmer. Now, I don't know if this silicone brush will pick it up well, but I'm going with this one, and I'm going to lay it over that shade because this is kind of like very yellow. Well, yeah, it picks up too much. So I'm going to pull a little bit of it back. So just be careful with these silicone brushes. They are very effective. Too effective, if you like. So I'm just going to lay that down. Alright, since I've got quite a bit of it on the brush, I'm going to use that in my right on my crease. Mix it in with that green just to highlight my crease. So I'm blending it into all the other shades, just like that. I'm going to use a matte to clean it up later, but I just want an highlight shade on top of that green. And I pulled it a little bit into the purple. So I'm going to use my fingers to stamp that down. Remember, I've got oily lids. I don't know about you, but... And then just after that yellow, I'm just going to put a little bit of Awakening to blend into the green. Like that, yeah, kind of like that. So that it's not just plain yellow on top of that green. Yeah, that gives a bit of dimension. Okay, I think we're done. We're done with that. Let's move on to this one. Okay, picking up a different silicone brush, I'm going to go with this shade called Trippy. This one. Just going to be very careful based on my experience. So just a little bit. I think that's already too much, but I'm just going to softly stamp down right here. Yeah. That is a beautiful, outstanding shade, I have to say. Really gorgeous. So it's got like green. I don't know if you can see. It's like pink with green flecks, green shift. Okay, that's that. I think I'm going to put a little bit on my lid as well, but not quite yet. I'm going to go for Nirvana. This one. I'm going to go for that Nirvana first. I have a feeling this is a very surprising shade, so I don't know what it's going to look like on top of that pink, but ooh, wow, I like that. It's gorgeous. And right in the center, I'm putting that Trippy, the pink, on it. Oh wow, did you see that? That is beautiful. So I'm putting that in the center, not displacing the Nirvana we first applied, but yeah, just putting that in the center. Oh wow, that is beautiful. Okay, for the green on this side, I'm going to go for a different shade now. I'm going to go for Zen. I've got a feeling this might appear, it's got like a bit of a pink to it, so it might appear darker If it does, I'm gonna have to lay down a yellow over it because I don't want the inner part of my lid to be too dark. So I'm gonna start with close to the pink first, just to see what it brings. Yeah, that's definitely different to the green I have here. Yeah, that green is definitely too dark, so I'm going to put a little bit of yellow over it. I think it ties in very well with the pink I have on. I'm just going to lay a little bit of it's a brightening shade in the middle. So going with that Divinity, the yellow, is it glass multichrome? Yeah, let's try that. Okay, that is so much better. I'm going to pull it a little towards my inner corner as well, just to highlight like I did on the other side. Okay, might be a disaster, but I think I'm gonna go with one of the pressed chrome flake Paradise. And I'm digging in, so that's what that looks like. I'm just gonna place that on the outer part of my lid. Yeah, I did put a little bit of glitter primer on that part first before I applied the chrome flakes. I don't think you need it though. This is the idea I'm getting from this palette. I don't think you need a glitter primer to apply these shades. I think they are really perfect on their own and don't need any help. Yeah, because with the glitter primer it became very soft. Yeah, going in with that matte, the matte I put on the outer corner, I'm just going to use that to stamp down on that flakes and kind of blend it into my lid. Yeah, like that. It's beautiful. For whatever reason, I kind of feel I want an in-between shade right here in the middle of that kind of red and the green. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a little bit of this green. Escapism. Yeah, it's the one I had on my inner corner there. Yeah, I think I want a little bit of it between. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I think that kind of gives it another sort of dimension, sort of oomph. And then bringing Trippy back towards the edge. Yeah, just back and forth really. To be honest, Trippy also has a green flex, so you really can't see the pink because, I mean, green beside the pink, yeah, they're quite similar. If you look at this, you can see the green, that pink, you can see green reflects in it, so it's kind of like interfering with this. Okay, I think they're more or less kind of even now in terms of the highlight of the inner corner. On the last note, I want to see what this can do in both inner corner, so I'm going to apply a little bit in both inner corner. I think this silicone brush is possibly the one I'll have the most control over. So okay, this is glass metallic, so I know I have to be careful. I don't want to use a glitter primer. I want to see if it will work well with the silicone brush like it's been doing all along. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit, I've got a lot on the brush, so I'm just going to wipe a little bit on my hand so it doesn't go all over the place. So I'm just putting that right in the center, in between the upper inner corner and the lower inner corner. Okay, now it kind of shows, but it's got a bit of fallout. Yeah, like that. Which I'm not surprised because it is meant to be a glass metallics, so, and I said it earlier, glass metallics would definitely need a glitter primer. Yeah, he applies so much better over a glitter primer now. Yeah, that white had the effect I wanted. I just wanted some sort of common ground and I wanted a pop in my inner corner, which it did. So I'm gonna go apply my liner. I think I'm gonna use black eyeliner just to kind of ground the look down. It's colorful, but I want to try and just kind of make it more wearable, if you like. Yeah, so I'm going to apply my liner now, my lashes, and I'll be right back to show you the finished look. Alright guys, I'm back for the finished look. So in the end I did use the aqua liners. these two on my lid. Hopefully my editing game is on point and you can see me applying the liners on top of the black liner I've gone. Initially I thought just black liner and it'll be too colorful using the liner. When I looked at it, I thought it was fitting, you know, to kind of like apply opposite colors on each side. So I applied the blue, which is the Intuition on this side, and the purple on that side, the Aura on this side. Yeah, and I think it's not too much. And then this is a closer look. So it's not too flashy because the liners themselves are not too in your face. If you like, the colors are kind of like muted to some extent. So I do think it was effective. I think if my eye wasn't too colorful, I would have had a liner again under the black liner, but I thought that would be too much. And also for my waterline, I stuck to the middle of my waterline rather than all over my waterline like I usually do. I kind of think that tones it down a little bit, but yeah, this is the finished look. Okay, my thoughts on the palette. I love this. This for me is a dream come true. You have shimmers, multichrome, metallics, water metallics, and for my liner and pressed flakes. It's just, it's a dream come true. This is like a perfect all-in-one palette. If I'm traveling and this is safe to carry, I can see me just taking just this and maybe 2 matte palettes with this, and it will be perfect. I won't even miss anything because the variety of the colors of the shimmer is just absolutely beautiful and perfect. And what I found today, I mean, judging by when I did the look, is you don't even need a glitter primer apart from the glass shades. These two, especially the yellow, that's the one, those are the only two I feel like you need any glitter primer. With even the press flakes, they didn't need anything. Me putting it just made it kind of exaggerated the effect, so you don't need anything else really with this palette. And with the silicone brushes, they just makes everything perfect. The application, and you know, a little goes a long way with those brushes. It just needs getting used to, because I'm used to just using one silicone brush. I'm not used to using multiple, but now getting all this multiple, I think the palette is even, it makes the palette even more worthwhile. I'm not sure if everybody will be getting this free or it's a first come first serve basis, but if it comes with the palette, I think it's perfect. And even if you're not able to get your hands on it along with the palette, I think it's worth investing in, because just a little, as you saw, it just spreads. It goes a really long way. I absolutely love the palette. I mean, saying that, it's very easy to fall into FOMO. I mean, this palette coming out and you're looking at, you know, these beautiful velvet shades and thinking you need a palette. I mean, for some people, these 4 shades is absolutely useless. If you are not used to using flakes or using liners or things like that, it's not effective to buy this palette, because effectively this middle row is useless. So I think if you already have the Lightwork 3, either the new version or the old version, I really don't, and you're not used to graphic looks and all sorts, you don't need to go with this palette unless you're a collector and you just want to buy it and keep it somewhere. But if you plan to be using it, yeah, and you're not used to flakes and liners, yeah, don't go near this palette. That's all I can say. But for me, it is perfect. I absolutely love it. Based on the performance, I give the performance 15 out of 10. Honestly, 15 out of 10. The pigmentation, the everything you get from the colors, it was beautiful, more than I was expecting. I mean, it spread longer than it was supposed to spread. Well, longer than I'm used to with single shimmers or single shadows from indie brands. Yeah, this definitely goes above and beyond. Yeah, is it coming a little bit too late? You know, way behind the indie brands? Yeah, most likely, but it's coming. They say it's better late than never. It's coming, but it's actually better than most of the shadows I've used, possibly all of the indie brands I've used, because for me, the spreadability and the application, it just stands out. It stands out. I think the one brand that possibly kind of like compete with the texture I tried in this palette might be Cleonard. And maybe not even all of their shades, maybe some, you know, the velvety like ones, because these are beautiful. These are soft. I just hope they retain their formula, because it's, I mean, it's a palette. I hope they retain it, you know, with exposure to hair and everything. I'm just hoping that it lasts longer and it stays that way, it doesn't deteriorate or whatever. But sorry for the for the long review, but I love this palette. I wasn't, to be honest, when I got it, I didn't really have any expectation, because I've never bought any of the palette from her. I mean, I do have the pots, like your, I have this from her, and I know that this is finicky. It's not very easy to use. You have to be on point. Plus, it's so easy to apply too much with the liquidy one. With the press one, I think it takes it up a notch in there. Like I showed you, you just need a little to tap in and you're good to go. And you don't even need a glitter primer. This one, if you end up using too much, it just gets all, you can feel that you have something on your eye. So for me, the palette just kind of improves on everything. So I didn't have any expectation at all, but I am pleasantly surprised and I'm impressed really with the formula. Now I don't know if the volume 3 is the same formula. Like, I mean, I've never used it, I've not touched it literally. Yeah, I touched it a tiny little bit, but if they are the same formula, then that's even perfect. But I suspect they can't be as beautiful as the volume 4. The volume 4 is indeed truly, truly beautiful. So if you are used to graphic looks, if you are used to flakes, an absolute must, honestly, an absolute must. And as mentioned, I will definitely be doing more looks with this palette, both on this channel and on Instagram. On Instagram, expect to be sick of this palette, because honestly, I am stunned, I am happy, I'm excited about this palette. Yeah, so there will be a lot of looks coming from this palette. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed my review and you've enjoyed the demo of the volume 4 palette. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you.